So this week marks the 3rd anniversary of DevoThoughts. Yes, we are 3 years old. And I figured it would only be right to just kind of talk about the origins of DevoThoughts and what's the purpose behind it and what the future holds. And just a forewarning, I think this might be a lengthy video. So, let's get into some questions. Can I tell you a little story? Let me tell you a little story. So, I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up learning a lot about God, learning about the Bible, learning about Jesus. I grew up going to church. I grew up very much immersed in the Christian culture. But I couldn't really honestly say that I myself was a Christian. I mean, I just kind of went through the motions. It was just something that I did out of routine, out of obligation, out of tradition, out of custom. But it was never something that I kind of deeply held as my own faith and my own belief and whatever. It was just kind of like I was just raised this way. That's the way I was born. That's what I'm used to. And so that didn't really change until 2011-ish, when I went off to college. And going off to college, you kind of have that whole, I'm on my own now, no one's really telling me what to do or what not to do, what to believe, what not to believe, and so on and so forth. So the question naturally comes of, who am I? And what do I believe? And how do I want to live my life? And how am I going to make decisions for my own? Not just by relying on someone else, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the question that I was wrestling with when I went off to college. And of course, the question of, why am I a Christian? Is it just because I was raised that way and that's what I'm used to? Or is it because I actually have an actual relationship with Jesus? So while I was I attended the University of Florida. So while I was at UF, I was able to meet a group of people who seemed to be very, I guess I can say, on fire or excited about their Christian lives. And I was just like, man, I've never seen anyone so happy or so joyous about the Bible and studying it and doing God's will. Usually people complain, oh, the Bible is too restrictive and it restricts me from doing what I want to do, and so on and so forth. And so Christianity is usually seen as something that holds you back from truly living. But these folks seem to be saying, no, I'm living my life and I'm happy and I'm joyous and I'm fulfilled and I'm satisfied. So I was like, man, what am I missing out on? Because I've been a Christian my whole life, quote unquote. So what do they have that I don't? So I started to really look into this whole Bible thing myself and study things out. And this thing kind of became my best friend. I guess you could say before DevoThoughts was DevoThoughts, it was just called Bible study, kind of generic. But this was the notebook that I used to kind of jot down the different things that I was learning while I'm studying the Bible and things that I thought were interesting and cool and so on and so forth. And one thing that I think that really impacted my life the most was the idea of God not just being this person up in heaven that's detached from us and who's just looking down on us and seeing when are we going to sin so he can zap us. He's not just someone who's very legalistic and tyrannical and just wants us to follow him or else, but rather he's a God of love, and all that he has called us to do and commanded us to do should be done and compel us from a space of love, and not out of just, I want to stay out of hell, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, or I want to go to heaven, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but rather, because I love this person, I'm going to serve them. Because I love God, I'm going to serve him. And I think that really is what changed my life, because for me, I viewed Christianity as just do this, don't do that, and you'll be saved, instead of love and you'll be more like Christ and be with him forever. So with this newfound revelation of who God is and who He's not, I kind of wanted to share it with others. And so initially I started just doing Bible studies on campus, and I did that for quite a while. From 2011, 2012, 2013, I was just doing studies on campus. And okay, back up a little bit. 2012 is actually when DevoThoughts started as a YouTube channel, and I started making videos and posting them online, but I wasn't very good at it. It just wasn't good. So I kind of quit that and put it off to the side. A year later, 2013, again, I was doing Bible studies and I was sharing stuff, and people were kind of asking me for my notes and so on and so forth. So I actually started posting them on Facebook. And but then of course some people didn't have Facebook. So I'm like, okay, well, how can I share my Bible studies in such a way that doesn't require you to log in or sign up for anything? And so I started my website, DevoThoughts. And it's funny because I totally forgot about the YouTube channel. But it wasn't until I was signing up and I was trying to use a DevoThoughts username for my Gmail account, and apparently it was already taken. And so I was like, what? Who took my email name? So I looked it up and I see myself, and I'm just like, oh, this is my account. And I saw all my old videos and so on and so forth. I was like, yeah, this is bad, so I deleted them all. That's why you probably won't see any. That's why you most likely. What am I saying? That's why you won't see me doing 12 videos on my channel. And I just kind of started over. And if you're observant, you'll actually notice that on the Welcome to DevoThoughts video, instead of saying welcome to my new channel, I say welcome to something like the reintroduction or something like that. So let's see if you caught that. Yeah, that's kind of how DevoThoughts started. Just me learning more about God for myself, me just growing as a Christian myself, and me just wanting to share what I've been learning and share the different characteristics of God and what the Bible actually teaches and what it doesn't teach, and so on and so forth. So the purpose behind DevoThoughts, I would say, has changed and has grown. Just as I have changed and grown, I think that the content that I will eventually be posting, and I have already posted, is going to grow and change as well. At first, like I said, it was about me just trying to teach people about God and so on and so forth. But now I'm at a place in my life where I'm just like, okay, now that I have all this knowledge about God, what do I do with it? You know what I mean? Like, what's the practical application of this biblical knowledge that I have, and how do I, most importantly, live like a Christian? What does that look like? What does that mean? And how can I make it practical, and how do I live it on my day-to-day life? So that's kind of more or less what I guess my future videos would be more geared towards, is now that you have this information, how do you apply it to your life? And on top of that, I also talk about other things regarding Christianity and religion, like some of the flaws that are within the church, some of the flaws that are within just Christians themselves and what we believe, and the misconceptions that we have, and how we can actually become better Christians, and how we can get rid of all the flaws and negativity that is associated with Christianity that, to a certain degree, isn't necessarily false either. So there's a lot of growth and change that we have to go through as a church, as a people of God, and I would just want to address some of those issues and kind of give a solution as well. And it's all about just growth. That's really what I want to emphasize, is growing and knowing why you are who you say you are. So if you say you're a Christian, know why you are. Don't just be content with, oh, I was raised this way, that's what my parents told me, and so on and so forth. Actually look into it yourself and see why you are a Christian, why you believe in God, who is that you actually believe in, and so on and so forth. And then, most importantly, how does this relate to me, and how do I actually live for God? How do I actually live this thing out? And that's kind of more or less what this channel and what I want to kind of explore. Future for DevoThoughts. Well, for one, I would say that as of late, I have been posting randomly whenever I kind of feel like it, whenever I've actually made a video, to be honest. But I think I'm going to try to take it a little bit more seriously and be a little bit more consistent and actually post weekly videos, at least one video a week. I'm probably leaning more towards a Thursday, and I don't know, call it like Thursday Stock or something like that. We'll see what I end up calling it. But yeah, every Thursday, that's kind of what I'm planning for the future, and I'm gonna try to tackle more issues that I think is plaguing church, and how I think that the church can actually come out of the lukewarm state that it is and actually become a vibrant, useful church again, so that we can actually impact the world the way that Christ wants us to. Because right now, we're not quite there yet, but I think that it's possible for us to get there and really be the impactful people that God desires for us to be, so that we can really reach the world, not just spiritually, but physically and emotionally, and all these other aspects of their lives holistically. But definitely every Thursday, and then maybe another video on another day. So just make sure you subscribe so that you can keep up with my madness and what I'm doing. And yeah. Final thoughts. Your mind is a beautiful thing. It is probably the most strongest tool and weapon that you have. So DevoThoughts, as you may or may not know, the tagline, think on these things, actually comes from Philippians 4 verse 8. And part of the reason why I called it DevoThoughts and I have Philippians 4 verse 8 as kind of like the slogan, is because I feel like the mind is a very powerful weapon, a very powerful tool that God has given us. And everything that we do and don't do, what we say, what we don't say, what we believe, what we don't believe, our character, our behavior, everything is all housed in here. It's all in the mind. I mean, that's where it all starts. And I think that being very mindful of the things the thoughts we entertain in our minds and what things we allow to enter our minds is very much important, because it does shape who we are as a person. So be mindful of what's going on in your mind. Be mindful of your thoughts and what you entertain, because they will manifest themselves in your actions and in your character if prolonged enough. So, as always, think on these things. And for those of you who stayed to the end, you'll see that, yep, I was correct. This was quite a lengthy video.